Donald Trump has worked with many New York mayors, and he joins us now. Mr. Trump, nice to have you on the show this morning.
Good morning. I have indeed worked with many, and I've seen them all.
So what is the key, then, to working with them, and is there a way that they can mend this rift?
Well, it's going to be hard because when Mayor de Blasio, now Mayor de Blasio, when he was campaigning, he was very, very tough on the police, very tough. And, you know, it all started with stop and frisk, and it went sort of wild from there, and the police were not liking it, and they did like stop and frisk. You know, if somebody has a gun, would like to find out whether or not he has a gun before he uses it. And there was a big outcry about that, and a lot of, you know, there was also a bigger outcry for people that want to keep it, to be honest with you.
Hey, how about
and it started with that. But his campaign, as Scott knows, because Scott watched it, and hello, Scott, and congratulations, by the way, that's terrific.
Donald, good to speak with you. Let me ask you a quick question. How about just saying you're sorry? How about getting a room with the leadership and some of the people that are affected most dramatically by this? Because clearly the police are hurting, they're on guard, they're nervous. How about just starting by saying you're sorry and start from there? Is there an opportunity for that?
He's got to explain his actions. That's true. He's got to explain his actions. I mean, his campaign was against police. It was largely against police, and it was a very violent and vicious campaign against the police, and the police have done an amazing job. You know, I remember the city when it was one of the most unsafe places to be, and now it's probably the safest place in America, safest big city
right about that.
There is. So,
Mr. Trump, what should today the NYPD graduates, he's going to speak, what should he say?
Well, I think he has to apologize, and I think he has to really get down to brass tacks, and I think it's going to be very hard because of his campaign. If you saw, you weren't watching it as closely as you do the national scene, but his campaign was very, very tough on cops, and I think he's going to have to get down, and he has to start with an apology, and after the apology, he has to just break bread and see if he can get it together. It's going to be very, very tough because his campaign against the police was very, very strong.
Should he resign? Many have called for his resignation. What do you think?
Well, that's a very tough thing to say. I mean, that's certainly up to him. But yeah, I see it all over the place. Everybody wants that. That's a very different decision. But I will say this: he's going to have to get, and he's going to have to do something. We have an amazing police force, and they have to be respected. And one day you're going to see the police start to protest, and then you're going to see something. And a lot of Americans and a lot of the people in this country love the police, and they love the fact that we're protected, and they don't like what's going on. So he's got a tough position, I will tell you that right now.
Yeah, many in that department feel as though he has already turned his back on them. Silent protests there as their backs were.
Time to say thank you to a police officer. That's what you got to do.
Thanks, Donald.
True.
Mr. Trump, thank you always.
Thank you, Donald.
Thank you. Thank you very much.